Hey guys, Sleepy Reader back again. Doing another video at my house before I leave on my vacation, and I'll probably be uploading this sometime a few days after I actually record it, when I get to Maine, the state of Maine. So anyway, these are some more comics I wanted to chat about, probably briefly, per comic anyway. Still probably be a long video, who knows. I grabbed Throwaways by Caitlin Kitteridge, who I think is a romance writer or a romance horror or just a horror writer, I'm not sure, a novelist who wrote for Vertigo, I'm spacing on the name of her series at Vertigo, and now she's doing one at Image. It's called Throwaways. It seems to be about street people who at some point were, mind controlled to be assassins by the government, and now the government or some agency is taking them out. And there's a lot of cool scenes, and I almost got used to this art. It does feel like, maybe because she's a less well-known person in comics, she wasn't able to find a better artist. I don't know, or maybe to her this is like the exact artist she wanted on this book. But I don't know, some pages work more for me than others, and so there's some kind of cool scenes and cool ideas here, and characters actually, like this character is quite cool, but it felt like she ought to have had an editor. There's no editor credited here. Someone needed to tell her, okay, there's not enough connecting material here, or you skipped something there, or whatever. So it felt like, and it might be, I don't know where these things go wrong, if it's initially in the script, or a problem somewhere between the script and the art, if this artist and the writer both are not that experienced, or have not fully made the connection as collaborators. I don't know. It could well all just be in the script. It's hard to say. So I think the smart money would be to give up on this. I don't know whether I will. I might buy a few more issues. Maybe she'll get things in the groove more. It's not terrible. It's $2.99, so that's something. But you know what? Paper Girls is $2.99 too. Incredible art, incredible synergy between a writer and an artist. So, I mean, obviously this would be the first thing to keep on your pull list. Things are getting really wild here with, just multiple things going on, multiple versions of characters, little character revelations. I think I was kind of distracted by these monsters, which to me, they looked like inverted digestive systems, like a walking butthole. Sorry about that, but I looked at that and I just thought sphincter. So, yeah, then one sphincter comes along and kills the other. Spoilers. Anyway, it was an interesting issue. It kind of felt like, it confirms the feeling that Paper Girls is just a wild roller coaster ride of a science fiction fantasy story with some character beats in it that maybe we weren't really expecting. When we started out, I kind of thought this was a book about girl friendships, but now it may be a book about who you want to be and what you expect out of life and things like that. And maybe that will shift yet again and it will be about something else. So I kind of put this at the top of the pile because on this particular video, the comics at the top of the pile I had more questions about. Basically just because this is your Paper Girls, even though I'm loving Paper Girls, was kind of an issue that does on its own doesn't stand up, but it's still a good part of the whole. Then I also grabbed this new comic, Mechanism, from Image. I think it came out this week. It was $3.99. I was able to leaf through it. I saw this amazing art, and so I decided to go for it. It's this kind of slightly different post-apocalyptic setup, some kind of humanoid alien kind of, I don't know, I guess they run in packs, kind of like, somehow I thought of them as humanoid jackals or hyenas, but somehow they've really overrun human civilization, and there apparently aren't that many survivors, and the people who are surviving are struggling to get rid of these things, although in some way they just seem like humanoid cockroaches or something. Yes, they will kill you if you find them, but how hard is it to make barriers to keep them out and stuff? But that's just getting kind of picky. At first I really loved the art, and then there were pages later on where I thought, this looks like maybe it was drawn with one of those programs that like creates a wireframe of a body for you. I don't know. Maybe that was just my imagination. I'm trying to find ones where that... things like this. I mean, there used to be a program called Poser or something. There's something non-organic looking about a lot of these arms. They seem like dolls' arms or something. Anyway, though, it's still beautiful art, incredible color. Everything kind of looks like storyboards. You notice how every page has the same number of panels? I wonder if this guy was a storyboard artist. And I kind of wonder, is he thinking that this is like a pitch for a movie? It was okay. It also felt like it needed an editor. There were clunky moments and stuff, not nearly as many as in Throwaways, but still it felt like it needed as an editor. But I looked at it, and it does have an editor named Ryan Caddy. Now, of course, an editor working on a creator-owned book can only give advice. I don't know if he did give advice for improving the script here, and it wasn't taken. If this were a cheaper book, I probably would try a few more issues. I think I'll just be happy with enjoying the art on this first issue, and I might, someday pick up a trade, or I might not. I'm not sure which. Okay, now if I was being most critical first, I should have put May at the top. This came out a few weeks ago. It's Dark Horse. It's by Gene Ha, an artist I've liked a lot in the past. He's worked with Grant Morrison. He's worked with Alan Moore. I don't think he learned very much from working with those guys. And also, what's up now that I think he's doing his own coloring, and he wants to turn his art into plastic dolls. I was just kind of shocked by what the art looked like. In a way, this is kind of cool, but in another way, it just was very unappealing to me that he just so computered up the images. You can see that they were originally hand-drawn. It's not like he did use a poser kind of program or anything like that. But then I feel like he just kind of ruined it with these overly painted, but painted without personality kind of coloring. I'm quite sure he did his own. Where was the credits? Story and art by Gene Ha, color assistance, which means he did the coloring. Letters by Xander Cannon. I found that interesting. He and Xander Cannon worked together on top 10 at ABC. The lettering is kind of large, but kind of cool. There were some interesting things in this, but it wasn't that compelling of a story. Someone has gone through a magic door and has come back, and it was all a bit jumbled, and the way characters talked to each other was a bit not quite believable. I haven't seen you in 20 years, and then the way they talk to each other is just strange. So yeah, I don't know. It feels like this is something that could have been good, but the road taken, the choices the artist-writer made just weren't quite right. I definitely won't be buying another issue of this. I could imagine checking it out of the library someday to see, just in case it turns out to be a good fantasy story for my daughter, but chances seem low. Renato Jones and the 1%. Are they still recording? Okay, I was still recording, and I thought my iPad had stopped on me, so I will continue on. Renato Jones and the 1%. This is, I think, issue 3. And in a lot of ways, I mean, this is just ridiculous. And I guess it's trying to tie in with, criticisms of the way our economy works and the way the rich have left the middle class and the poor behind, and basically said screw you. And I do think to some extent things are out of balance in our economy and everything, as things have been turning against the middle class. But I feel like the content of this comic, really, other than its claims to have something to do with that, has nothing to do with that. It's about the super rich, which of course is, the 0.00001%, and it makes the super rich out to be horror monsters, basically. People who are constantly raping and killing and torturing other people just because they can. And who knows, maybe that's what Bill Gates does, but I have no evidence of that. I don't think, it's only the super rich who are going to Thailand and abusing child prostitutes or what have you, or abusing child prostitutes or children or women or other men. I don't think it's just the super rich. And yeah, there's monsters everywhere, and I don't think there's going to be more monsters in terms of these kinds of things amongst the super rich. Yes, they would be spoiled. Yes, they would be potentially withdrawn from the rest of humanity. But this does not really look at that. But somehow it's still kind of a cool, fun story. Parts of it kind of rip off the best of Frank Miller. But I think the influences come from other places too. So it has this lively, fun wackiness that I enjoy, as long as I don't try to engage with it as actual social criticism. It's also a little disturbing, and if I thought this was really what the rich do, then yes, I would want to go out and kill them. But I don't think that's the way to solve our social ills. Yeah, I mean, look, that's what Stalin and his friends did, and look what good that did for Russia. They just became the new monsters. I don't know. There's that. I enjoy it, but there's that weird thing about it. Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire, and this artist who I've never recall seeing before, Dean Ormston, had this sort of post-superhero, quite literally kind of comic. Definitely, in the Alan Moore vein in a sense, but done with a Jeff Lemire kind of aesthetic. And then when you add in this really lovely art and color by Ormston and Dave Stewart again, you get a really great comic, or a really great reading experience. I don't know if this is really a great comic. It's fun to look at. It was fun to read in kind of a low-key, adult way, in a sense. So yeah, it's not like I'm saying this is the bee's knees, but it's just a fun, low-key, alternative take on superheroes that I highly enjoyed. Okay, whoops, I wanted to look at it this way. Faith #1 came out. This is now the third Faith #1 in a way, or maybe one was a Faith 0, but I think now they've rebooted Faith as an ongoing, so we'll see how many issues she actually gets. This one was written by Jody Houser, who did the 4-issue miniseries, which was decent. I think the character of Faith is a stellar character. I thought the comic book about her was true to the character, but plot-wise was okay. And this issue is okay and has lots of nice details, and again, is very true to the really cool, great character of Faith. I like the fantasy sequences. There's a twist at the end that kind of plays on some of Faith's flaws, you know, her fantasy about men and fantasy about movie stars and stuff. But there was a lot of clunkiness here. I'm trying to, you know, I just feel like there's some writers who have an incredible rhythm and music to the way comic books end up being put together when they're the one at the helm, and lots of other writers who are kind of in the middle, and occasionally writers whose the music or rhythm of their way of putting together a comic just doesn't work for me. And this isn't that bad, but it's closer to that kind of, you know, the music of the comic isn't there for me. On the other hand, another issue that came out the same week, featuring Faith on her first date with Archer from Archer and Armstrong, had that swing that, you know, it was just a well-paced comic, and it didn't slow me or stop me anywhere, even though it starts with a conversation between Archer and Armstrong. But then the rest of I think the entire rest of the book is this really fun date between the two characters, Faith and Archer. It was almost too perfect of a date, but because the writer just moved us through the comic book, I didn't mind, you know, sort of the over-perfect date, the overly cute couple. I guess that could be, you know, a danger in the future, that people don't want to do anything negative with these characters, because we all have our flaws, and certainly flaws often drive story and plot. But still, it just was such a fun comic to read. I really enjoyed it. And I should mention that I have been reading this newly rebooted Archer and Armstrong A+A since the beginning, so it's been 5 issues. And it's been a real hoot. It's been a wild ride. This writer, who I've never heard of before this series, Rafer Roberts, you know, he has some great ideas. He puts them together in a really cool way. Archer and Armstrong no longer feels derivative of the original Valiant Archer and Armstrong in its sense of humor. It still builds off of the original Archer and Armstrong, but it has its own thing now, and it's really good. I imagine we're coming up on the first trade. I'd recommend that, or you can probably still dig up the issues, or just jump on, because obviously this one was kind of arresting. This date issue was just a one-shot, and there'll be a new plot coming up in the next issue where they're on a quest to meet Archer's wife, who he was married to thousands of years ago. Archer's an immortal, and he forgot about her. He forgets more than he remembers over the centuries. So yeah, as long as Rafer Roberts is on this, I'm all for it. It's definitely, you know, I'm hesitant to put $4.99 or $3.99 books on my pull list, but this one, you know, I have no problem. I feel like I get my money's worth with every issue. So, I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.